William Shakespeare, a literary star that shines through time, a true maestro who enchanted the world with words. The 16th century was an era of great transformation in England. The Renaissance was sweeping through Europe, bringing a wave of knowledge, art, and literature. Amidst this golden age, a man was born who would go on to become the greatest playwright and poet of all time, his words echoing through centuries. Even after centuries, Shakespeare remains the greatest literary figure of all time. We know what we are, but know not what we may be. We know who we are, but we don't know who we can become. William Shakespeare, a literary star that shines through time, a true maestro who enchanted the world with words. The 16th century was an era of great transformation in England. The Renaissance was sweeping through Europe, bringing a wave of knowledge, art, and literature. Amidst this golden age, a man was born who would go on to become the greatest playwright and poet of all time, his words echoing through centuries. William Shakespeare, 1564 to 1616, was born in a small town called Stratford-upon-Avon. He was just another ordinary boy, unaware that one day his words would reach kings and queens, touch hearts, and live forever. But his journey to greatness was anything but easy. The beginning, an ordinary boy who changed everything. Shakespeare was born into a middle-class family. His father, John Shakespeare, was a leather merchant, but the family soon fell into financial struggles. At just 18, William married Anne Hathaway, and within a few years he had 3 children. But Shakespeare's heart belonged to another world, the world of stories and imagination. At that time, London was becoming the cultural hub of Europe. Shakespeare, driven by his passion, left for London to try his luck. But he was a nobody, no money, no connections, no recognition. He worked behind the scenes at Globe Theatre, doing odd jobs, writing dialogues for actors, setting up props, cleaning the stage. But at night, he transformed into a different person. He wrote and wrote and wrote. The rise of Shakespeare, when words took over the world one day, his first play, Henry VI, was performed at the Globe Theatre. And then, the audience was mesmerized. People started flocking to see his plays. Theaters were packed, dialogues were memorized, and his name spread like wildfire. One after another, he created legendary plays: Romeo and Juliet, the ultimate tale of love and tragedy; Hamlet, the deepest question of life and death; Macbeth, the lust for power and its consequences; Othello, a story of love lost to jealousy. But Shakespeare's words weren't just stories, they were reflections of life itself. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. Life is just a grand stage, and we are all merely actors. There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Nothing is truly good or bad. It's our thoughts that define it. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. Some people are born great, some work hard to achieve greatness, and some have greatness forced upon them. A legacy that never dies. After achieving worldwide fame, Shakespeare decided to return home to Stratford and live a peaceful life. He had conquered the literary world, but he chose a life of simplicity. In 1616, at just 52 years old, Shakespeare passed away. But his words, and they still live on. His dialogues are still performed in theaters, studied in schools, and quoted across the world. What can we learn from Shakespeare? Passion and hard work make anything possible. Every person has a story to tell. The power of words is eternal, and that is why, even after centuries, Shakespeare remains the greatest literary figure of all time. We know what we are, but know not what we may be. We know who we are, but we don't know who we can become. A fool thinks himself to be wise, but a wise man knows himself to be a fool. Heat not a furnace for your foe so hot that it do singe yourself. It is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves. Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none. No legacy is so rich as honesty. We know what we are, but know not what we may be. If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die? And if you wrong us, shall we not revenge? One touch of nature makes the whole world kin. Some rise by sin and some by virtue fall. If music be the food of love, play on. Hell is empty and all the devils are here.